According to Adams et al. 2010, anxiety is a negative emotional state that is characterized by or associated with feelings of nervousness, worry, or apprehension. You can experience anxiety in two ways. There is cognitive anxiety and somatic anxiety. Cognitive anxiety consists of an athlete having a negative evaluation of their performance. It is a thought component of anxiety. Whereas somatic anxiety is the physical feelings you get when experiencing anxiety. For instance, your heart rate increases, you get sweaty palms, you start fidgeting. Cognitive anxiety probably happens 24 hours before a game, so when you first get a call up saying that you'll be playing the next day and stuff like that. But somatic anxiety happens moments before the game, just before you're going to go out onto the pitch or court. There are two types of anxiety, state and trait. Your trait anxiety is how much anxiety you generally have within you, how anxious you normally feel in everyday situations. It is constant and stable, so doesn't change. If you have high levels of anxiety normally, then you generally perceive certain situations as threatening. For example, my friend has high trait anxiety, so when put in a sporting situation like football, netball, any sport, she feels uncomfortable and wants to quit. This is due to the fact that her normal anxiety levels are high, so when put in an uncomfortable situation, her anxiety levels increase. But state anxiety is situation specific. Your anxiety levels change dependent on the situation. So for me, if I have to take a penalty shot in netball, I would experience state anxiety because I'm comfortable in a game situation of netball, but I'm not a shooter, so I'm not confident when it comes to taking shots. So I would experience state anxiety as it is situation specific. However, if you get a combination of both anxieties, then you're more likely to have a catastrophe when playing a sport, so your performance levels will decrease. These are the factors that can affect a person's sport performance. For example, if someone already has high trait anxiety and then you put them into an unfamiliar situation, as they're not sure what the task involves and what is expected of them, then their levels of anxiety will continue to increase. This could cause a catastrophe very early on in someone's sporting performance, and they would find it very hard to recover from it as their anxiety levels will keep increasing due to the situation they're in. However, state anxiety can cause a catastrophe too. This is because if a player is put in an unfamiliar situation within a game that they are comfortable in, such as hockey, say they move to defence when they are normally up front, state anxiety could occur due to all the factors above. So fear of failing because they're in a different position, maybe it's a vital competition, don't want to get injured because they're not used to having to run at the defence or from the opposition and stuff like that, and maybe fear of disappointing teammates and coaches. These are some of the techniques athletes can use to manage their anxiety in sports. So one of them is selective attention. So maybe paying attention to the selective and relevant cue so that they focus on getting one aspect of their game right. Also, deep breathing, inhaling like oxygen, so that you increase the oxygen supply to the working muscles, so that the muscles are ready for exercise and you're prepared. And also, it just helps calm you down if you deep breathe. Also, positive self-talk, so saying to yourself that you can achieve something really helps. However, there is a problem with these techniques, as in you can't use these techniques in a live situation, so when you're playing a game, because a game situation happens too fast, and if you use these techniques within a game situation, then you won't be concentrating, and your performance levels are more likely to decrease rather than increase.